Cats. Today, they rule the internet. Memes, TikToks, Reels. Cats have the power to dominate your feed with one grumpy face or a dramatic flop on the floor. But thousands of years ago, cats weren't just online celebrities. They were literal gods. Yes, in ancient Egypt, these fluffy, sometimes sassy creatures were worshipped like divine beings. But why? Why would one of the greatest civilizations in history bow down to something that knocks cups off tables for fun? Let's dig into the mystery. First, let's picture ancient Egypt. We're talking pyramids, pharaohs, deserts, and the Nile River flowing like the lifeline of a civilization. Food and survival depended on agriculture, and agriculture depended on storing grain. Enter the enemy: rats and mice. These little pests could wipe out food supplies, spread disease, and basically ruin everything. Then along came the cat. Silent, graceful, and with laser-sharp hunting skills, cats kept the granaries safe. To Egyptians, this wasn't just helpful, it was miraculous. The animal that could protect food was nothing short of magical. But the Egyptians didn't stop at useful pet. They saw cats as protectors, symbols of balance, and even spiritual guides. One of their most famous goddesses, Bastet, was depicted as a woman with the head of a lioness or a domestic cat. Bastet wasn't just any goddess. She was the goddess of home, fertility, and protection. In short, she was the ultimate multitasker. Bastet's followers believed cats carried her spirit, so when a cat purred in your lap, it wasn't just seeking warmth, it was divine approval. No pressure, right? Here's where it gets even wilder. Killing a cat in ancient Egypt, even by accident, was punishable by death. Imagine tripping over mittens in the dark and suddenly being hauled off to court for execution. That's how seriously they took their feline reverence. Cats were so sacred that when one died, the family would go into mourning. People shaved their eyebrows as a sign of grief. Eyebrows. Forget black clothes or funerals. Egyptians wore their sadness on their foreheads. Can you imagine explaining that at work today? Oh, your eyebrows are gone. Cat died? Yeah, my eyeliner budget just doubled. Mummification is another piece of the puzzle. Egyptians didn't just mummify pharaohs and nobles, they also mummified cats. Thousands of cat mummies have been found in tombs. Some were pets buried alongside their owners, while others were offerings to the gods. Whole cemeteries dedicated to cats have been discovered. It's like an ancient version of a cat cafe, only with a lot less meowing and a lot more linen wrappings. But why this level of obsession? To the Egyptians, cats embodied duality. They were nurturing yet fierce, playful yet deadly. A cat could curl up on your bed at night and then massacre a mouse at dawn. That balance of softness and power mirrored the Egyptians' ideals of harmony in the universe. They valued order, stability, and balance, concepts embodied by cats themselves. Plus, admit it, cats look smug. Egyptians saw that as divine confidence. Now, you might wonder, was it just Egypt that adored cats? Not exactly. Other ancient cultures liked cats too, but Egypt took it to another level. In fact, Egypt's love for cats was so intense that they actually exported cats to other regions. And when foreign traders tried to smuggle cats out of Egypt, laws were made to stop them. It was like trying to smuggle gold or artifacts. Cats were state treasures. Imagine border control going, "Anything to declare?" and you awkwardly hide a meowing bag. Another fascinating twist: cats even played a role in warfare. Historical accounts mention that during battles with Persia, the Persian army used cats as psychological weapons. They reportedly carried cats in front lines, knowing the Egyptians wouldn't dare harm them. It's like the ancient version of holding hostages, but with kittens. And it worked. Because Egyptians valued cats so highly, they'd hesitate to fight. Talk about weaponized cuteness. Let's also talk about the art. If you've ever looked at Egyptian tomb paintings or sculptures, cats are everywhere. They appear sitting regally under chairs, lounging beside women, or standing tall like sentinels. This wasn't casual doodling. It was deliberate. Egyptians wanted to showcase the cat's importance in both daily life and the afterlife. They even bred cats specifically to highlight traits associated with divinity. Sleek bodies, sharp eyes, elegant posture, basically the original cat influencers. And oh, speaking of posture, cats in Egypt weren't allowed to just be ordinary. They had jewelry. Yes, cats wore bling. Archaeologists have found collars, pendant, and even tiny gold earrings for cats. Egyptians didn't just worship them, they accessorized them. Imagine Bastet looking down and saying, "Yes, my children, but make it fashion." Now, before you start thinking Egyptians were just eccentric cat ladies on a national scale, remember this: everything in their religion was symbolic. Cats weren't worshipped for their whiskers, they were worshipped for what they represented: protection, fertility, the cycle of life and death, and divine balance. A cat's ability to hunt, its mysterious eyes that seem to glow at night, its independence, all of this fed into Egyptian spiritual beliefs. In a land where nature could be harsh and unpredictable, cats symbolized control and safety. Fast forward to today, and cats are still treated like royalty, though maybe in different ways. We feed them gourmet kibble, buy them fancy scratching posts, and let them walk across our keyboards mid-Zoom meeting. Maybe we're not that different from the Egyptians after all. The main difference? At least you won't get executed for stepping on your cat's tail now. Probably. So, to wrap it up, Egyptians worshipped cats because they were practical helpers, spiritual protectors, and living symbols of harmony. They saw divine power in those glowing eyes and swift paws. And while we might laugh today at the idea of shaving our eyebrows when a cat dies, the truth is, we still give cats a level of reverence few other animals receive. Just ask the internet. Cats didn't need Egypt to get gods. They've always acted like gods. Egypt just made it official. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Wiseuse for more funny, weird, and surprisingly useful facts.